Are you always tired? Like, you're always tired. It's 3 p.m., you're tired. It's 7 p.m., you're tired. It's 11 a.m., you're tired. If that's you, then you should watch this video, because I promise by the end of the video, you're gonna figure out why you're always tired. And I'm gonna be giving you practical and actionable tips that you can implement so you're always full of energy no matter what time it is during the day. So first, you need to understand, if you're constantly stressed, cortisol spikes are gonna be draining your energy over time. So ask yourself, like, am I just constantly stressed throughout the day? If so, then what you want to do is you want to develop stress management techniques. One of my favorite ones is, at the end of every day, I will journal and I'll write down anything that's stressing me out. And literally just the act of writing down what's stressing you out relieves stress, because it's taking it out of just swirling around in your head and just putting it on a piece of paper and actually being able to see. Like, usually it's just a sentence. So write down what's stressing you out and understand, like, if you're constantly stressed, it's literally going to be draining your energy. Your energy directly correlates with your sleep. Some people are always like, I'm always tired, but it's also like 3 a.m. and you're watching this video. If that's you, I'm sorry to call you out, but it's the truth. If you have horrible sleep habits, it's probably the number one reason why you're always tired. Now, what are actually the good sleep habits to have, and what's an actionable tip that you can use to get way better sleep that I've never heard anybody talk about before? First is just understanding and making sure that you're sleeping enough hours. So sleeping 7 to 8 hours. People are like, I can get by on 4 to 5 hours of sleep, and then you're always tired during the day. So make sure you're getting enough sleep. But the second thing is, you want to make sure you're going to bed at the same time and waking up at the same time every single day. And the reason for that is you want to make sure your circadian rhythm is in sync. So your circadian rhythm is basically like your body's internal clock. And so when you're constantly going to bed and waking up at different times every single day, your body's internal clock can't go like this, and it's just kind of going all over the place and it's confused. If your circadian rhythm is in sync, then you're like naturally able to like wake up at the same time every single day without an alarm clock. But if you're not able to do that, that's because it's out of sync. Now, most of you know, like, you should be going to bed at like 11 p.m. 11 p.m. comes and you're like, oh, I'll just watch one more Netflix episode. I'll just keep on scrolling for a couple more minutes. And so the biggest hack that I can give you is to start taking melatonin every single night. Now, if you don't know, melatonin is the chemical that produces in your body that makes you sleepy. And you've probably heard of melatonin gummies before. And you've also probably heard that you can't be taking it every single night because it's bad for you and you're going to develop this dependency. But Brian Johnson, one of the most measured people in the world, he takes a melatonin gummy every single night. And so I started doing it and it's worked wonders for my sleep. Now it makes it super easy for me to go to bed at 11 p.m. because I'll take a gummy at like 10 and I'm just way more tired and I just want to go to sleep because I'm too tired. Now, you want to make sure you're not taking like a 5 milligram or 10 milligram gummy. What you want to do is you want to buy the 1 milligram gummies, and then you want to cut them up into 3 pieces. So 1 gummy cut up into 3 pieces, because you want to make sure you're only taking 0.3 milligrams per night. Because if you're taking more than that, then you're going to wake up super drowsy. You're going to wake up really tired. Instead, if you're taking 0.3, it's enough to activate more melatonin in your body without you getting the side effects of taking too much. And taking this amount isn't going to cause any dependence in your body. The next thing, and this is a huge hack, is you're eating really carb-heavy breakfast. So this is actually what I used to do. I used to go to the gym in the morning, and then when I get home from the gym, I order the same thing every single day, which is an egg cinnamon bagel. So it would have just a cinnamon bagel on both, ends, and then egg in the middle with avocado, mayo, and tomato. This is what I was doing every single morning. I was ordering this every single morning. And I would always just feel really tired afterwards. And that's because if you're eating a whole bunch of carbs in the morning, then it's going to cause you to feel really tired and feel really groggy. Eat a protein-rich breakfast with light carbs. Another one of the things that I do is, like, I actually don't eat breakfast anymore. What I'll do in the morning is I'll literally just have a protein shake, and then I'll eat lunch around 1 p.m. And it helps me so much. It allows me to be way more productive in the mornings. So you don't have to do this, but I do recommend literally just in the morning, just eating protein, and then you can implement carbs at 1 p.m. or for dinner. Another thing to note is that you low-key might be chronically dehydrated. Most people don't drink water on a regular basis. Like, I know somebody and they literally just drink soda. Like, they don't drink water. So it's really important to make sure that you're drinking water throughout the day, because being dehydrated can cause fatigue as well as brain fog. One of my biggest tips for drinking more water is just to get an expensive water bottle. So my sister had bought a Stanley for $50, and I remember thinking, that's so dumb. You spent $50 on a water bottle. And she's like, Ashley, just buy one. You're not going to regret it. And I bought one. I finally bought one a couple months ago. And honestly, it's one of the best purchases I've ever made. Yes, it was $50 for a water bottle, but I bring my Stanley with me everywhere because I actually just like it. Like when you buy a water bottle that you actually like, especially if you spend a lot of money on it, then you're actually going to bring it with you everywhere. And so you end up just naturally drinking more water. Another thing is that you might be too sedentary. If you're too sedentary and you sit all day and you're not moving, you're not getting your steps in, you're not working out, you're going to have low oxygen circulation, which is leading to more fatigue. So make an effort to get more steps in. One of my favorite hacks to getting more steps in is getting either an Apple Watch, which I know it costs a bit of money, or you can just get a steps app on your phone, and just being able to track your steps gamifies it, and it makes it you want to actually be doing more walking during the day to get your step count up. And then another thing that you can do is to compete against your friends. I remember a couple months ago I was competing with my mom, and one day she got like 20,000 steps. I'm like, oh my God. But competing with her made me want to walk more. And it wasn't this competition like I need to beat you. It was just, it was just fun. And it was just like bragging rights. So competing with your friends or your family is a great way to gamify walking more, and I highly recommend it. Sometimes you might be on a medication that's actually making you tired during the day. So I started taking Pregabalin, and the first week I just was tired all day and I was literally being lazy. I just wasn't working. And at first I'm like, damn, I just need to fucking work harder. And then I actually looked up the medications that I was taking, but I looked up online and apparently it can cause sleepiness. So just check your medication. It might honestly be that the medication that you're on is making you sleepy. And if it's actually leading to you being really unproductive, then it's worth it to have a talk with your doctor or your psychiatrist. And you also want to, if you can, get your blood drawn and check for any deficiencies, like maybe vitamin B12 or low iron or, vitamin D deficiency, because this can actually be the reason behind you feeling tired all day. Hope you enjoyed.